our viewers can relate to. When I was growing up as a wrestling fan, one thing that I had to get accustomed to was how the mainstream media was going to be so ignorant and so uninformed and so uneducated about pro wrestling. And when I was a kid, I was a big fan of Arsenio Hall. And I was a big fan of Regis Philbin, in part because they were respectful of pro wrestling. And Arsenio Hall had everybody on his show, and he knew about them. You know what I mean? He knew what was going on about them. And Regis Philbin used to have everybody on their morning show as well. And I used to like those guys because of the fact that here's some mainstream media members that actually are respectful of pro wrestling. Most of the time you would get these local news anchors and stuff that didn't know anything about it, and they would make all these tongue-in-cheek comments about it. And as a wrestling fan, for me, that would be very irritating. Here we are now in this era where WWE is going to be moving SmackDown to Fox starting next Friday, October 4, and we're already starting to see the signs of this ignorance. In 2019, it still exists, even though you think that information is at people's fingertips now, and it would only take 5 minutes to learn about wrestling and to learn about the physical toll it takes on their bodies, to learn about the athleticism that's involved, to learn about the sacrifice on their time and with their bodies. But you're getting this shit still. And I want to talk about a couple of examples that just came up. Last Thursday, September 19, Braun Strowman appeared in the broadcast booth during a Major League Baseball game on Fox. And Keith Olbermann, who's an anchor for ESPN, posted this on Twitter. Put up Keith Olbermann's thing. He said, "You guys are kidding, right?" And then he put a screen of Braun in the broadcast booth. Fortunately, a ton of guys came to Braun Strowman's defense and to WWE's defense, and they kind of shit on Keith Olbermann, as they should. Then there was another one this past weekend. Rey Mysterio was at the Minnesota Vikings NFL game. And obviously he was there as an invited guest because he wore his mask and because they showed him on television with his name on the screen. So clearly he was there as an invited guest to promote the Fox WWE deal. The Fox broadcaster said something when Rey was on screen. I've got a little screen here that I gave to Brady. Can you put that one up?
It's a video, right?
Put up the video.
Yeah.
And Rey, he's here. Look at him. He's in his mask. It's like a luchador. This is like a Nacho Libre.
Again, this is 2019, Sean. And Fox, who is the employer, maybe not of Olbermann, but he's the employer of that broadcaster, is putting up over $200 million a year for the rights to WWE. So you would think that these people would, number one, be a little more respectful, and number two, maybe take a few minutes and do a little bit of research. You could even Google wrestling and learn something in a couple of minutes. Instead, they come off like goofs, making tongue-in-cheek comments like referencing Rey Mysterio being Nacho Libre. Again, as a wrestling fan growing up, I've always dealt with this, and I'm kind of accustomed to it. But it's still unfortunate to me in 2019 that we gotta watch this ignorant shit. What are your thoughts?
I have a lot of thoughts. One, Keith Olbermann was in a goddamn WWF Sports Center commercial 15 years ago with King Kong Bundy, Diesel, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Paul Bearer, all those people. You kidding me, Olbermann? All right. Go back to posting the pictures of the dogs that need adopted. That's good stuff. That's what you should do.
I didn't know he does that. Does he do that?
Yeah, all kind. Great stuff. Great stuff. Gets a lot of dogs adopted that need to be adopted.
That's cool.
Nacho Libre was 13 years ago. 13 years ago. And I had somebody say, oh, well, it's not their job to do this. It's not their job to promote WWE. Yeah, it is.
You work for the company.
That's why they're doing the goddamn read.
Yeah.
If Jimmy hits me up tomorrow and says, all right, on the Friday SmackDown show, I need you to do a read or promote some of the other digital properties on the network. Or how about this? If Jimmy, my boss, wants me to promote a digital property that has nothing to do with us, that's what I do. That's what these people are doing. That's a part of the broadcast agreement that NFL and Fox have signed with. That's a part of the broadcaster's deal. Right. It's a part of all of it. Then, like we talked about how they don't come prepared and all that. You got the Alex Rodriguez interview where he called Triple H Dan and all that stuff.
Orange and red. Oh, it's terrible.
We are a channel under 20,000 subscriptions. When I was at Midtown last month, there were people saying, do you want to interview this guy? And I said, yes, I would love to, but you need to give me about 20 minutes. Let me do my research before I do it. Send them up to the office after that. We'll do that interview. Show some respect to the people that you're interviewing. Don't go in there blind.
I agree.
Could I go through and bullshit somebody and not know anything? Of course I could. But is that what you want to do? No. Furthermore, why didn't they edit that out of the Triple H thing? Why? Like, so much of that, like when I watched that A-Rod thing, he's like, Like he asked like he was asking a real. He acted like he was asking a real hard-hitting question.
Yeah.
Who's better, Hulk Hogan or Ric Flair?
Yeah.
I was like,
I was telling a buddy about that the other day, and Alex Rodriguez was embarrassing in that interview because it was very. And did you notice at the end of the interview, he basically he more or less said, "Okay, Hunter and Stephanie, time for you guys to fuck off because I got to go to the upfronts." Did you catch that?
Yeah.
At the end of it, he's like, "Okay, speaking of the upfronts," he was basically saying, "Fuck off," because I want to go to the upfronts. He was an embarrassment. It was very obvious that he walked into the room and somebody handed him a sheet of paper with research with research on it, and he spent the whole interview looking at it like this. You know? He was looking at it like this, and then, like you said, it'd be his turn for a question, and he would look at Stephanie, and you're thinking, "Oh, this is going to be a really good question because he's really focused on this research." And then he literally did. He looks at Stephanie, goes, "Who's better, Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan?" And I was like, "Oh my goodness, man."
The guy, just based on baseball salaries alone, made over $441 million. So what does he care?
Good for him. No, I mean, I respect that he's trying to take that money and become an entrepreneur. I respect that.